Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Federal Postal Judge Mitchel Smith, period. A federal postal judge can only police the grammar, and once I find the words to be false and misleading, then we follow up with false and misleading statements. Title 15, Section 1692E, false and misleading statements, carries a $25 million fine and 30 years in prison. So if you guys don't really know what's going on, I have been arrested for the last 3 visitations. I went live on the last arrest. They said in the report that I gave the police officers a bad time, and that's why one of the reasons why they arrested me, and that I was said I was a federal and a postal judge. Well, I never said that. It was clearly stated. So they messed up on a lot of things. So basically, to break it down, they've stolen my house fraudulently, stolen my cars, stripped me of everything. I'm homeless at this point. I have absolutely nothing. All I have is the knowledge. And I just want to convey to you, I wanted to file things. I had really no time. I went in, I tried to get paperwork. They wouldn't even give me any of the paperwork that was filed, so I have absolutely no idea. So I filed nothing. I filled out no affidavit. I didn't file any of their paperwork. I didn't give them any signatures. I didn't give them anything. Why do I need to fill out a piece of paper to say that I want to see my children? I don't need to fill out any piece of paper. I don't need to sign any document. So, but what I have done is I have come up with a plan and kind of an explanation of basically what they're doing to our young human offspring. They have alienated me from 3 separate generations of my children, encompassing every child I have put on this earth. And the only thing that they can come up with is that I told the lawyer Mark A. Price from Antioch to get right with God and stop torturing my children, where the judge had a branch of Department of Justice raid my home and arrest me and give me a 5-year sentence. So the levels that I have been pushed to, most people don't even know exist. So I've not only become a federal postal judge, I've had to become an expert child psychologist. So I put together a few things for you guys. What I'm ordering is a subspecialist in attachment-based parental alienation and estrangement, who sees it all the time. Not the best psychologist in the world, who rarely sees it. The question is, how does this happen? This field is highly counterintuitive to anyone that doesn't have extensive training and experience dealing with it. Most people usually get it wrong. When I say people, I mean judges, lawyers, attorneys, psychologists, and other mental experts. The majority of the time, they will not only get the case and the evaluation and recommendations wrong, they will get it exactly backwards. Think how counterintuitive this is. First of all, in an attachment-based parental alienation, most human offspring will align with the abusive parent. You find these young human offspring that have been living with their abductors for years, and then they resist capture or Stockholm syndrome. This is what I mean by counterintuitive. What we would call pathological enmeshment. Let me define that briefly. It means that the alienating parent has an unhealthy enmeshment with the young human offspring. The young human offspring has lost his or her individuality, a severe erosion of critical reasoning, skills, and boundary violation, sleeping with the other parent, doing the bidding of the other parent, inappropriate sharing of information. Pathological enmeshment is a serious psychiatric problem, and to a non-expert, it looks exactly like a warm, loving, healthy relationship. The non-expert comes in with perhaps a PhD or MD in psychiatry or psychology. And what they see is the mother and father, it's about 50-50 spread these days of who does what. They see the son and daughter, "Mommy, I love you, I love you, I love you," holding the mother tightly, in my situation, bound. They look at dad and say, "I don't want to see him. He's a bad man. She's perfect, he's rotten." The non-expert says, "Wow, look at what a great relationship." They really don't know how to probe to see what's actually going on here. There are 3 types of pathological enmeshment: emotional incest, infantilization, and adultification. Adultification is making the young human offspring into an adult. Why don't you decide if you want to see dad? Right there, that's adultification. Right there, that's pathological enmeshment. So pathological enmeshment to a non-subspecialist, to an experienced forensic psychiatrist, looks just like a warm, healthy relationship. The fundamental attribution error means you look at the behavior and you see an angry man or someone who's angry. You say, "He's an angry man." You think it's his character. In general, he's an angry man. Never mind, multiple court officials have pushed my human offspring to near death. We are hardwired to say, "I'm going to stay away from him. He's displaying anger." So, if the anger is situational, then it is an error. Now, the relevance to us is that when an interviewer sees a severe case of attachment-based parental alienation, the alienating parent is cool, calm, collected. He or she is probably a narcissistic borderline or antisocial or all 3, called a cluster B. In my case, my ex-wife is a cluster B and is a master manipulator, has learned to convincingly mimic normal behavior and presents very well. Oh yes, I encourage the child's relationship with the other co-parent. By contrast, the targeted parent has PTSD, has not seen the young human offspring in some time, years or for very short periods of time, has been told he is the one that is the problem, and comes in all intense and angry and stressed out. A perfect example from an instructor from a AFCC meeting said to the group, "Go by what you see. If the parent displays anxious and intense, you can be sure that's how they parent." No. That's an elementary error. Clinical reasoning and decision making, not if it's a fundamental attribution error. In severe cases, the severe cases are fundamentally different than moderate cases. In a moderate case, it's very reasonable to try to educate the parent, to be more cooperative. But in a severe case, where you have what some experts call, you have an obsessed alienator. That individual with 100% certainty has a personality disorder. Normal people just do not do this to their young human offspring. And one clue would be that they block out access for years on end for trivial, frivolous reasons that you would never block access to your young human offspring for. Another indication or indicator would be the repeated breaching of court orders, which a normal individual would never do. So just to give you a glimpse of the pattern, when you see excuses, they don't like him and I'm not going to force them to see him. You should sit right up in your chair. Normal psychotherapy makes these cases worse. So if it's a skilled psychotherapist who thinks you can come in and perform didactic therapy, example, why don't you find something to apologize for? Johnny, how did that make you feel? That is a disaster. Don't do that. Don't try that even with a medium case. They will almost every time get catastrophically worse. Just like in my case, I told the therapist, don't do it. They still did it, and then that's when my daughter depicted suicide at 6 years old. So you have to match the therapist with the young human offspring. That's my answer. There are 2 places, one in Canada run by Kathleen Ray, one in Texas run by Richard Warshak. Give them 4 days with the young human offspring, and the young human offspring returns to the rejected parent happy as a clam to be reunited. But it requires a change in custody and a 90-day emergency separation from the alienating parent. Other than that, there is no hope for a severe case. Don't even think of trying doing it with office therapy. Thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I know I will. Come get me out if they arrest me. Love you guys.